Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Cosmic Girly Cello Chronicles. I am your host, JM. I'm doing this one a little bit differently this morning. So normally when I record, I try to record downstairs in either my office space or in my lounge. But I've just woken up and I'm feeling quite inspired to get some episodes down. This is me trying to beat executive dysfunction in ADHD, and I'm like, you know what? I'm in a space where the sound probably isn't horrendous, but it's at least I'm inspired to do it. And do you know what? That's one of the things that is really important to me in just trying to manage my business, manage everything, but particularly my business with ADHD, and just to try and learn how to get on with things. And I mean, that is today's topic. I mean, you've read the title of the podcast episode, but that is something that's really important to me, is how do I manage my career with ADHD, or at least how do I try to manage my career with ADHD? And I was thinking back to another episode I'd recorded. I don't even know if I'll have posted it by this point, but it's I was talking about how I practice, and one of the things, as in how I practice my cello, and when it comes to managing my career with ADHD, the first thing that I know I need to do is figure out how I can make everything as easy as possible. And quite often, that doesn't mean necessarily taking shortcuts or doing things that people might consider being lazy. So for example, at this point, I don't even have any music, intro or outro music on my podcast. I don't sit in like a recording studio. I'm not always at my desk when I record. When it comes to recording an episode, for example, and to keep this going, I literally seize the moment. And sometimes that might mean, okay, I've just woken up and there's a bunch of ideas in my head which feel great, so I'm just going to roll with it. I'm just going to do it now. And I have to be able to not worry about things like the sound quality. I have to be able to not worry too much about things like editing. I have to not be too worried about things like background noise. So in my bedroom where I am, I will wake up and I don't know if it's pigeons, I think it's pigeons that love to attack the guttering outside my bedroom window. But you know what, I have to just be like, well, I live in a house and this is real life, and if these things happen, these things happen. That's all there is to it. And I also have to accept that, if listeners don't like it, then that's okay. I mean, if I were to try and please every single person listening to this podcast, I'd break. I would absolutely break. So I learn to roll with it. I have to learn to roll with some of the things that I just don't need to consider as important as other things. So choosing the easy route, or making things as easy and seamless as possible, is really, 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 really important. So something else I will do is I will quite often I will have multiple items I will have multiple items of the same thing. So for example, things like earbuds. If I'm having to listen back to things, like, say, for example, I've just recorded a bunch of affirmations for musicians, which, they'll go on YouTube, or I'll put them on Insight Timer. And sometimes I know I need to test them. So I'll have there's a pair of earbuds in my bedroom. There's a pair of earbuds downstairs by the sofa. There's a pair of earbuds at my desk. There's a pair of headphones up here as well. There's a pair of headphones downstairs. Like, I know that I can't afford to have to run around the house trying to find where the hell did I put my earbuds? Where have I put them? So I'll have several pairs of the same. And loads of people might go, well, that's really expensive. No, I choose sometimes I'll choose the cheapest earbuds I can find for whatever reason. Or at the moment, like, for example, I've just bought some sleep earbuds because I want to know the effect of, like, if people want to fall asleep to the affirmations, does it work? Is it comfortable? Does it seep into the subconscious? And I need to test that. I need to know what it feels like. So, I'll have several pairs of sleep earbuds. I might have a pair here. I might have a pair at my partner's house. It is just having lots of things to make life accessible. And there's a fine line between lots of things to make life accessible and lots of things just because we like collecting stuff or whatever. I know a lot of my ADHD fam like to collect things, but I have a lot of these things just to make life as easy as possible, depending on where I am. So important to me. Something else I use to help manage my career with ADHD is I get off the back of having lots of things all over the place that will help support my business. I will do things like, it's hard to explain this one. I leave things packed. It just sounds weird. So, for example, my gig bag, which quite often has my little cello bag in it. That's like the little bag that has things like rosin, pencils, nice pegs for sheet music if I'm performing outside with sheet music, a duster and stuff like that. Like that will stay in my roller bag. So I have, the roller bag is amazing. It's a Kipling backpack, but it's on wheels as well. And so my little cello bag will stay in there. I will keep some snacks in there. I'll have an empty water bottle in there as well, so that I know that for the most part, I can just grab the bag and go. But I also know that everything I need, or at least the majority of stuff I need, is already packed in that bag, and I won't get like halfway to a gig and then be all, I forgot the thing. Because that feeling of leaving the house and sitting in the car on the drive for 5 minutes thinking, I've forgotten something and I don't know what it is, but I know I've forgotten it and I can't think what it is. And then, you know the thing. I know you know the thing. And you get halfway there and it's like, I remember what it was. It was my cello. I've never done that. I'm kidding. I've never done that. I've never forgot my cello. That's a lie. I have, oh my God, that's a story. Yeah, in fact, you know what? That's another podcast episode. I have forgotten my cello on one occasion, but that is a whole other story. Anyway, something else. This is probably a bit of a controversial one, but something else that helps my career as a cellist, as a musician, actually is AI. I use ChatGPT to help with very specific business prompts and to help streamline things within my business. So if I'm creating what's called a funnel, which is maybe like an email sequence to support my wedding clients, then I will use ChatGPT to help me create that funnel, because for me, it's so overwhelming when there's a lot of moving parts, particularly when it comes to business admin. So yeah, I will have as much help and support as I can, but I don't like using AI and ChatGPT to create things like art or to write music for me. I know there's a few trends that have been going around at the moment. It just makes me uncomfortable, and I don't like it very much, because it's like, well, I would rather approach someone who can do that real life rather than AI. So my chatbot works almost as like a business colleague within my business to actually help me run my business. But then something else that I have to help me run my business is a real life business colleague. In fact, I have several. So, I'll have things like, I have a business coach, I have a money coach, I have an accountant. I just have, it's important that I have other human eyes on my business to spot things that I'm perhaps not seeing, or to be a cheerleader when I need a cheerleader, just to help and support me in that way. I think that human response, that human connection is so important, because at the end of the day, it's a business. I'm running a business. This is not just, a weekend warrior hobby where I'm like, I just feel like rocking up to someone's wedding and playing. I just feel like just turning up to an orchestra gig and just do. No, it's really important that I have some kind of management in that respect. And that's people managing me, people managing my business, and people helping me manage my business. Those things are so, so, so important. I would say perhaps something else that helps me manage my career is self-care. Yeah, I would say it's probably self-care at home. It's how to look after myself. So I'm sitting here looking at my kind of, what do people call it? Like a vanity mirror. It's basically like a dressing table. It's my chest of drawers, and it has a mirror on top, and it just has like all my like care products on it. So things like maybe hand creams or perfume, my vitamins, my hair care stuff. And I have things like those to hand because I know that if I don't use those things, I don't feel like I'm functioning at 100%, or at least as close to 100% as possible. So I make sure that my self-care is accessible to me, perhaps in as many places as possible. If I'm round at my partner's house, then, I'll have self-care products there as well. Things like, water bottles and hair care stuff and skin care stuff and vitamins and minerals, because I know that I'm getting on in my years. I'm 46 and I know that I need to look after myself physically as well as mentally and emotionally. So for me to function top notch, or as close to top notch as possible, those things are important. I have to do those things because they make me feel good. And when I feel good, I get the work done. So some of these aren't just relating to ADHD, but they are important because it just feels like an extra bit of help is needed where I perhaps might get stuck or things don't flow as smoothly as possible. So I just make things easy. I think the overall thing is, how can I make this as easy as possible so that I can get this thing done? And it's just, it is as simple as that. And I will, when I'm coaching some of my clients, and particularly my wedding clients, and it comes to them, preparing music for their wedding day, or if I'm coaching cello clients and they're struggling with something, I'm like, okay, like whether it's a performance thing or figuring out the notes, I will almost always say, look, okay, what can you do to make this as easy as possible? What needs to happen to make this easy so that you can just go ahead and do it without worrying about it and stressing about it and just make the thing happen? So looking across my business, I'm trying to make things as easy as possible. And I invite you to do the same. If you're on the spectrum, if you are neurodivergent, or particularly if you have ADHD, I'd love to know what you're doing to help make your career easy. Like, what are you doing in your business to make things as easy as possible in your creative career, your creative business? What are you doing? How are you making it work? Because I'd love to share ideas. I'd love to be able to, share these ideas going forwards and have other people feel helped and supported as well. Okay, if you have enjoyed this episode, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. If you didn't enjoy it, I'm really sorry. Maybe the next one. If you really enjoyed it, please do leave a comment, or, let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to converse in the comments, or if you want to leave a rating, or even if you want to subscribe or follow, that'd be incredible. I'd really appreciate that. And thank you so much. I will see you on the next episode, and I hope you have a great day, whatever you're doing. I'll catch you later. Bye.